case studies. One of the biggest problems with them is that they can come across as being really salesy and can read as just a big, massive sales pitch. So what you want is a way of showcasing how you can help others just like your potential prospects and clients. So in this video, I'm going to share with you a framework put together by Kevin Anderson from The Story Edge. And that's going to give you the framework, the structure of how you can create case studies that put your potential client and previous clients in the spotlight without coming across as being salesy. Ugh. So let's get started. So the first part of the framework is all about the hero. Now it can be so tempting to think that that is you, coming in to save the day and tell all about how you did your bestest and saved the client. In this format, in this framework, the hero is actually your client, the client that you actually worked with. And the reason that they are the hero of this story is because when you read a case study, what you're looking at is how can this business or this person help me? And if I can see that they've helped other people just like me, then it's going to be much more powerful and create much more of an impact and an impression and a connection with your reader. The next step in the framework is to talk about the goal, the objectives that your client had. So what was the problem that your client had? What was it that they were struggling with? So it could be someone who is struggling to create professional looking images for their social media. It could be a parent who's struggling to feed their fussy toddler and meal times are an absolute war zone. Or it could even be a keen gardener who is struggling to keep their lawn looking shipshape and fancy. The third part of the framework is around the event. So what was it that triggered your client to take action? What was the final straw for them? So thinking about the parent who is struggling with their fussy toddler, what was it that made them decide enough was enough to take action? So for the parent, it might have been that they had just had enough of the stress and the worry that mealtimes was causing for them and their child. Or it could be their concerns about their little one not getting enough nutrients to help them grow up fit and strong. Part 4 of the framework is talking all about obstacles. So what was it that held your hero, your client, back from being able to solve this problem on their own? Now there could be a variety of obstacles that they have had. It might be that they believed that they should be able to work it out all by themselves and not get outside help or help from someone else to work it out. It could have been thinking that it was going to be way too expensive. So it could have been a money worry, a cost issue that they had that had been putting them off getting the help to the problem that they had. It could have been just like a little bit of a lack of knowledge that was stopping them from making the difference, and then you were able to come in and give them that information that they were after. Or it could have been something else. So again, when you're talking about the obstacles that your client had gone through by themselves, again, it makes your case study more relatable, more real, more human, and it helps the reader to understand again that you were able to help a human being going through the same things as they were too. And if they have the same and similar objections, then it's going to really help your case study to resonate with them as they read through it. So part 5 is all about the mentor. So ta-da! Finally, at step 5, you get a mention. Now, the thing is, it can be so easy to go into full-blown showcasing how amazingly awesome and fantabulous you are. Now, I know you are, but remember, the way that Kevin wants you to use this framework is to, create a nice story so that the reader can relate to it and it doesn't come across as salesy. So while you want to tippy tap away and say how amazingly awesome you are, hold back and let your client, the hero of your case study, tell them what happened and how they worked with you. Part 6 of the framework. Okay, this is all about the ups, the downs, the good bits, the not so good bits, or as Kevin calls it, warts and all. Now, we all want to say we were the most awesome thing that ever happened to our clients, but sometimes there are bumps along the way, and it could be something that your client has perhaps sort of struggled with, or something happened during your time, or just something that didn't make it quite as plain sailing. Now, this can feel a little bit uncomfortable and think, this is a case study, this is meant to be shining a light. Now, the thing is, with social media being really, really noisy, it can be so easy for us to not be relatable and not to be human. And with including the warts and all in your case studies, it kind of shows how honest and increases the know, like, and trust factor when it comes to someone thinking about working with you. So yeah, it's really important to keep it honest and open about how it went working with your client. So remember the parent of our fussy toddler. Now, let's again keep it real and keep it honest. If after, one lesson on how to help and support your parent of your fussy toddler, was the fussy toddler eating Brussels sprouts? I very much doubt it. But by sharing these honest parts, warts and all, then it really does go a long way to keeping your case study real. So other things that you might want to include in your warts and all, ups and downs, ebbs and flows section of your case study is what your client struggled with, but then also how they got back on track, or what wake up calls that they had, or light bulb moments, or learnings that they had from noticing how things didn't quite go to plan. And sometimes changes, solving problems can take longer than are expected. So if this happened with your client, explain why in the case study. The 7th part of the framework is all about change. Yes, transformation. And again, it could be so easy for you to write about all the wonderful things that you did so that your client could now make all these wonderful changes. But again, it's not about you. You are not the hero. Let your client tell their story. So how do they feel about their situation now? What's changed for them? What's improved for them? What are they doing differently? What are they thinking differently about? How do they feel now going forward with, a toolkit or a solution to their problem? Now, the final part of the framework is all about providing a lesson. Now, again, let's go back to thinking about this case study, this non-salesy case study. It's you showcasing how you've worked with someone, but in their own words, so that the reader can see how you can help someone just like them. So let's think again about the parent with the fussy toddler. So the lesson might be that actually, by making some very, very small changes, mealtimes can go from a war zone into being quite fun and relaxed. It could also be that they've actually learned a lot about themselves, and it was actually themselves that were potentially causing the stress around the mealtime with their toddler. So by explaining the changes, the transformation, the light bulb moments that your client had, it gives the reader some hope, some encouragement that if another person has been able to make this transformation, then it's very possible, very likely that they can too. So that's the 8 steps. But once you've created your case study, what on earth do you do with it? Well, there are quite a few things that you can do with it. So obviously one of the places to do is to put it onto your website. So you can have it within your blog. So when people are visiting your blogs, your case study is there. You can also add it onto the sales page of the relevant product or the service that you are offering. You can include it in your email series around the sales and promotion of your product or your service. You can share that case study onto social media. And a place that a lot of business owners forget about is their email signature. So what you can do is to have a link to your case study or case studies on your email signatures for people to have a look at. So there you have it, an 8-step framework on creating non-salesy, achy, uncomfortable case studies for your business. So if you've got any questions or any comments on this 8-step framework, then please leave your questions or comments below. And if you're interested in more about Kevin Anderson and the Story Edge, the links to his website are also included below. If you've got any questions or comments on today's video, then please feel free to pop them below. And also, if you haven't already, then please subscribe to my video. Now, what happens is with every new subscriber, I celebrate with a cup of tea. I love tea, what can I say? So if you'd like me to have another cup of tea today, then please go on, hit that subscribe button now. See you next time.